Welcome, everybody, to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. I'm your host, Ross Benjamin. It's Wednesday, November the 15th, and like every Wednesday morning, I am joined by these two handsome gentlemen on the other side of me, Mr. Sean Higgs and Mr. Jesse Schule. As you can see, when I use the word handsome and Sean Higgs, his eyes popped out of his head because he's not used to hearing that in the same sentence. Anyway, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, folks, I don't know what you're waiting for. You've been tuning in. You like sports betting, obviously, and this is the best you're going to get with this type of format across the internet when it comes to a sports betting podcast. We just don't give out free picks. We try to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday, and if you have not subscribed, you'll see a WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on your PC, just click on that. That'll get you subscribed. It's absolutely free, no charge, folks. And if you're on your mobile device or your smart TV, there's a black subscribe button right underneath. Just click on that, and that will get you subscribed. And for those of you who have subscribed, we thank you very much. But for those who haven't subscribed and those who haven't done this as subscribers, go to your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel, and you'll be notified immediately upon us putting up this great podcast that we bring to you 6 times a week. Sean, how are you?
Dying over here, man. Holy cow. Just the allergies are getting me, Ross. I don't know.
Yeah,
so excuse me when you see me roll out a covered mouth cough or whatever, but hanging in, bumpy day yesterday. I think I went 5-6 in my college hoops. Not great. Again, we're talking about I had a bunch of dogs. Well, a bunch of them didn't get there apparently, but I did hit a hockey game. I did hit an NBA game. So it is what it is. End up splitting out. That's all right. We move on to the next day. One day doesn't make or break any of us. Jesse runs down the numbers. We're not one day kind of guys.
Exactly right. But what I was about to say is you're at top of the leaderboards in a lot of categories over at our site, gamblersworld.net. It's there, folks, where you'll find not only us 3, but 7 other great handicappers, and we guarantee our picks there. So if you don't win, you don't make a profit on any single game, multi-game, daily package, or any subscription plan of 30 days or fewer, we will credit your account back the exact amount you spent on that specific purchase. As a matter of fact, over the last 7 days, you're looking at the top 3 handicappers at the site in terms of money earned. Myself, Sean, and Jesse, last 30 days, Sean is number 2. And last 60 days, Sean is number 3. So good run there from Mr. Higgs. Also, if you look at the college football and NFL, he's right up there as well. But this other gentleman, Mr. Schule, is off a 3-0 day, Jesse. I told you were going to get it going, and you're getting it going.
Sean, break out the pen for this one. Gentlemen, mark this day down on your calendar. Today is a new day. I am a new man. I've had a revelation. Yesterday on this show, I was lamenting the fact that Jimbo Fisher is getting paid $75 million to walk away from his head coaching job after he underachieved. And I said, maybe I'm in the wrong business. Well, that's blasphemy. I am in the right business. There's no better job in the world than handicapping sports. And I'm here for the long term. And I feel damn good about it. Last night I had 3 underdogs and all 3 of them cashed. Who let the dogs out?
In Jesse's case, it's who let the Bulldogs out. So, yeah, Jesse sent me a picture of him and his beautiful little daughter at the market. I don't know if you got that picture as well, Sean. I'm sure you did. But
geez, I forgot to mention, that's another reason for my revelation is I took my wife and my beautiful daughter out for dinner. We go to the grocery store on the way home just to pick up some coffee. I'm cruising by the meat aisle. They got 5-pound tomahawks on sale for under $50, practically giving them away. I filled my cart with those puppies,
Holy cow.
That's like winning the lottery for me.
Your daughter had the one steak. It was taller than her, for crying out loud.
I know.
It reminds me of the old Flintstones series.
I don't like cooking a thick steak.
Well, those who know me know that I enjoy going 3-0 with my picks, but I might enjoy a 5-pound tomahawk steak even more.
You got to pound them down, Sean. You got to pound them down, my man. Anyway,
I don't like to,
no.
Can't hit the meat.
What you do is you cook it on indirect heat with a little bit of smoked chips on the Weber for about an hour. You bring it up to temperature. You let it rest for about 25 minutes. Then you sear the edges on high heat with a bunch of charcoal. You get that Weber really up to temperature, and then you sear it for 5 minutes. You take it off. You slice into it. It's wall-to-wall medium rare, perfect. Served with some chimichurri.
No wonder he eats a 5-pound steak. He has no problem. He's got to look at it cooking for an hour and a half, Sean. Holy cow, that's torture. That's absolute torture. All right, we're talking college football today, and we got some good games. Kansas State and Kansas, Utah, Arizona, and North Carolina and Clemson. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Utah and Arizona. Right now, Arizona is a 1-point home favorite. The total 45.5. Utah coming off that 7-point loss at Washington last week, but they did cover as a 9-point underdog in that contest.
Yeah.
In Arizona, just this is a surging team right now that, don't go to sleep on the Wildcats right now. But right now, Arizona, like I said, is -145.5. I'll let you take it away, Sean, from here.
Yeah, I had the Utes last week in that game. I thought it was a good little spot for them. I look at this, and I'm going to take Arizona here at home. I'll go money line. It's a pick 'em. It's a -1, whatever it is. And I think Windham's a great coach, and that would be my one lone kind of thing. It's stopping me from pulling the trigger as a premium plan. This one, and you look at the series. Utah's owned them lately, but that's we had Cam Rising back then. And he was but this, as good as Arizona's a good surprise. How about Utah? Like, who thought they'd be where they are? 7 wins, tough games, battling. I just want to know, what do they got left in the tank, Utah, off of these kind of games? You had the win over SC, Oregon blasted them, you beat Arizona State in a rout, and then you were in this game, and then there was nothing in the fourth quarter, cost you that. I don't know what they have. Is there anything? Can they pull themselves off a mat again here? Which, again, Arizona's not a top elite team here they're not USC or I don't even want to throw USC in here because Arizona nearly beat them.
Yeah.
But you got to like their heart, though, the way Arizona's played this year. I mean, there is no really quitting them. They lost to USC, and you figure, oh, boy, here we go. We're going to have a bad game. They came back and blasted Washington State. They beat Oregon State. They beat UCLA. Colorado was a kind of little wild one, but, again, they got the heart. They're playing inspired ball, whatever you want to do. I'm taking them at home. What's this? Their last home game, I think, too, on the season, I believe, before they head out to Arizona State. Let's go. Good season. Get that 8 win. I'm taking them as a small money line, whatever it is here. Favorite. Let's go.
-115 is
what
they are on the money line. Yeah. I had Utah last week as well. And I had my heart in my mouth because they blocked a chip shot field goal by Washington with less than 3 minutes to play. Thankfully, that kept us inside that number. But yes, you're talking about a team with a lot of heart. And I think it's a reflection of their head coach, Jesse, Kyle Whittingham. They say teams take on the personality of their head coach. And when it comes to Whittingham, he's got a lot of character. He's tough. And his teams play within themselves, and they don't beat themselves as well. However, I think they're in deep here because, they've now gone 3-3 in their last 3 games. They've lost 2 of their last 3. And they're taking on a Arizona team that's playing. They've won their last 4, like Sean just alluded to. Little closer game than they would have liked last week at Colorado, but they pulled it out 34-31. And knocked off UCLA, Oregon State, Washington State, who's reeling right now. Sean alluded to the USC game. I believe that was 2 or 3 overtimes. They lost game 43-41. And the game before that, as a 19-point underdog, they lose to Washington 31-24. They gave them all they could handle in that game. So, Jesse, what's your take on this game?
I agree with both you guys, or I agree with Sean. It does appear that Arizona is the play here. What does Utah have left in the tank? But I'm a Utah guy. I don't like betting against the Utes. I did take Oregon State at home against them this year, and that's really the only time I can remember betting against Utah in the last 2-3 years. I think Arizona is the play here, but this is one that I'm going to pass on. Just don't. I feel like there's not a lot of money. There's no easy money to be made betting against Utah. Is the way I'll say it.
Yeah. But you know what? If you're going to bet against Utah, it's on the road. And after a game against the number 5 team in the country right now, who might be part of the college football playoff, and against a team, the current game against a team that's won 4 in a row. So I will agree with my 2 cohorts here. I'm going to take Arizona as well here, and I like them on the money line in this situation. All right, Sean, tell the folks a little bit about, I already filled them in on how well you were doing in terms of the rankings at the site, but what you may have coming up this week, what you may have coming up tonight, and anything else you'd like to share with the audience in terms of your picks.
I got a 3-pack of college hoops for today. I have NFL for Thursday posted, and I'm gonna have. Well, they're on the site with my college and NFL for Saturday and Sunday, but I'll load up some pack. I know, you know what? Saturday I do have packages up for Saturday college football, so you're gonna get a bit of everything. As I said, I had a hockey winner last night. I had an NBA winner last night. Actually, I have an NBA game today too, believe it or not. And I was just telling Ross off air, I'm like, I don't even like throwing a lot of NBA games out here, but I'm at a nice little start out of the gate. So if I see something, I guess I'm gonna grab it. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, I think I saw that you were 8-2 out of the gate in the NBA, which I know you're not a big NBA. Well, it's not that you're not a big NBA guy. You just don't find as much value in the NBA and all the uncertainties when it comes to player availability and all that.
I feel it's very tough.
Moaned about that last year, all of us. And but you find a lot of value in college basketball. Quite simply, Sean, it's when you give somebody like 100 and something games on a Saturday to handicap in college basketball and a plethora of games during the week. There's 3 times as many Division I teams in college basketball than there are FBS teams in college football. So, you're going to get a lot more value just from that standpoint alone. Anyway, Jesse, Clemson and North Carolina. Clemson looks like a resurgent team right now. They'll be hosting the Tar Heels here, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Clemson right now is a 6.5-point favorite. The total 58.5. North Carolina coming off that thriller against Duke that was a lot closer than they would have liked, as they had to go to overtime to win that game by 2 points in double overtime, I think. In any event, Jesse, what's your take on this game?
Well, I think the demise of Clemson and Dabo Swinney have been somewhat overstated. I know that a lot of people are disappointed with their season. I'm not sure how much better you could expected them to be with Cade Klubnik at quarterback. I wasn't a believer coming into the season. I don't think Klubnik is anywhere near the guy that Trevor Lawrence was or Deshaun Watson was before him, and that's holding them back. Perhaps they could have a little more talent at some of the skill positions at wide receiver and a deeper backfield of running backs. But they still have a great defense. They have a great home field advantage. And I think that the Tar Heels are a bit of a fraud. And I think that was evidenced by giving up 45 points to a Duke team that I like this Duke team very much. But with their third string quarterback scoring 45 points on the road at UNC is a little alarming. I don't think they're going to be able to protect their quarterback, Tar Heels, against this Clemson team. They couldn't do it last year. They lost 39-10 to Clemson last year. Drake May threw a pair of interceptions, didn't play very well. I think he's going to be on his butt early and often in this game. And I think as much as Klubnik isn't a great quarterback, and as much as Clemson has struggled all year in the red zone, they haven't been able to cash in on good field position. But the Tar Heels are the kind of team that have the kind of defense that struggling teams such as Duke can put up big numbers on. If Duke can score 45 on this Tar Heels defense, no reason why Clemson can't do that. And I don't think the Tar Heels can score 30 on Clemson. So I like Clemson minus the 6.5.
All right, Clemson minus 6.5 from Jesse Schule over North Carolina. That game will be played at Clemson, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Yeah, to your point, Jesse, I mean, they've given up 31 points or more in 4 of their last 5 games. Actually, in their last 4 games versus FBS opponents, because the one game they didn't out of the last 5 was against Campbell, who plays at the FCS level. So their last 4 games, they've given up 31 points or more against FBS opponents. Matter of fact, they've given up 31 points or more in 5 of their 9 games versus FBS opponents. And, you know, Sean, this seems to be a trademark of Mac Brown teams since he's came back for his second tenure at North Carolina, is the fact that they are fully capable of putting up a lot of points. I mean, they've scored 40 or more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6 of their last 7 games. They've scored 40 or more. So the trademark I'm referring to is a lot of offense and very little ability to make stops on defense. Your take on this one, Sean?
Mine is real simple. I see the unranked team laying basically a touchdown to a team that's ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go Clemson. Clemson by double digits. It won't be close.
There you go. And again, thinking like a bookmaker. If you want to get one step ahead of the curve, that's what you need to do, folks. You need to look at lines like this, like Sean just touched upon, and say, why is an unranked team almost a full touchdown favorite against a ranked team like North Carolina? That's the disparity in records. North Carolina 8-2 and Clemson 6-4. I think they're giving you the winner here. And I think I agree with Sean in that aspect, and I agree with Jesse's pick on Clemson here. Jesse, tell the folks, other than that 3-0 last night, anything else you want to share in terms of why they should spend their hard-earned money with you over at gamblersworld.net?
Well, Ross, yesterday you told me to quit bitching and moaning about short-term losses, and why don't I quote some impressive long-term streaks? And I took that to heart, so I wrote some down. I got 3 plays up on the site today. I've got a college basketball, an NBA basketball, and a hockey play, and I've got long-term streaks for you for all 3 of those sports. We'll start with, actually, I got a college basketball total. And I wanted to mention my totals have just stunk it up in the last month. In fact, it's my totals that have really cost me this college football season. If I just take my sides, I'm having pretty much the same season I was having last year. It's the totals that have killed me. And I told everybody I'm going to keep on playing the totals. One of the reasons is over the last 365 days, my all sports totals, all totals that I've bet, 136, 111, that's 55%, that 55% number that we talk so much about, for a profit of 10,790 units. And, people will laugh at the 55% and they'll laugh at the $10,000. But if you saw $10,000 laying on the ground, I'm sure you'd pick it up. And if 55% gets you there, well, so be it. To the NHL, 65-40, 62%. For a profit of 10,020 units. That's all my NHL picks in the calendar year of 2023. So not bad there. Pretty solid standing. And what do we got? NBA. My last 100 straight up NBA bets. That's money line plays, because tonight's play is on the Kings and the Lakers, and that game is a pick 'em either way. Might as well take the money line than laying or getting one. So that I have a money line play on that game. My last 100 money lines, 63-37, 63%, for a profit of 13,200 units. So when you look at a sample size of 100 or a couple hundred games, or even 365 days, this guy's still the man.
Yeah. And that's why it's important, folks, because look at when a guy shows and he's documented to have long-term success, and you're focusing just on what's happened in the last 2 weeks because he's had a bad run, that's your first mistake. Number 2, if he's on a bad run, I could tell you, based on the long-term success, that there's going to be a red-hot streak to follow. And timing is everything. And I think too many of you out there, and Sean, I'm interested to hear your take on this as well. I think too many people out there that buy from us as professional sports handicappers, they like to find a guy that's like 28-7 over the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever have you. He's on a red hot roll and I'm going to invest money in him. Well, there's no way that particular handicapper is going to continue on that pace. I mean, it happens, but it may happen for another couple weeks or so, but usually that tails off to where he is on the year. And that's let's hope that somebody like that is 55 to 58% for the year. So, I mean, I think what you need to look at, folks, is maybe a guy like Jesse that's had a tough 2 weeks. And now he's coming off a 3-0 day, and he's shown you long-term success. Chances are Jesse's going to go on a roll. And I'll bet right now, folks, that when we talk about this 3 weeks from now, Jesse's going to be talking about a role that he's been on in the last 3 weeks. So why not get in on the beginning and invest long-term with Mr. Schule, either a 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day package? That's the only way you're going to get a true gauge of how somebody's going to do for you. And that's the only way you're going to make money in this.
Mark this day down on your calendar. Sean, break out that pen.
Sean, your take on these people chasing hot streaks.
You can't jumping in a hot. You can't do that. You can't. It's listen. And I'm more up and down than you guys because of just my volume of plays. And in the long run, you're going to kind of get back to again, for me, I'm happy with 54, 55 because of my sheer volume. But like Jesse's mentioned in his amount of play, I saw on one of the Twitters, somebody's like, oh, well, that comes out to like $1 a day for whatever. I'm thinking to myself, it's 57%. Like, that's what people don't get. Like, Jesse, you're going to lose some games eventually. And the way Jesse's goes is he'll lose 3 or 4 or whatever. And then it's going to be a 13-1 run, right? We talked about beginning of the year. Oh, I only started 13-0 in NFL or 12-1. That's how he is. So he's on a 4-10 run or whatever it was. 3 in a row. Yeah, get on board with Jesse. Here it comes. Here comes his patented 20-2, 71% run that he's going to have in the month of November. You see it. He posted. It's real. I mean, what?
Yeah.
You can't
as opposed to people.
They're new to betting. They don't understand long term. They're in it for the night's play. They get up. Well, what am I going to bet today? All right. Well, tonight I'm worried about Sunday. I'm worried about next week's NFL. What are you talking about today for? You should be past today. You should be on to tomorrow.
It sure is funny when you show a winning record for 10 years with free picks, and then they complain that it's not winning enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally free money. Like, it's laying there right in front of you. It's on the table. All you got to do is pick it up. I don't know. That's not quite enough for me.
That's not enough for me, yeah. Same person's no problem going to use a 2-for-1 at Starbucks. Like, look at this. I got $5 off my order. That's okay.
Go to nail
in Vegas, that'll get you a quarter of a latte.
I don't get it.
Yeah. A gentleman chimed in yesterday, and this is the type of questions I don't mind answering. He says, Ross, you said 59%. In my mind, you're barely making money with that. Explain to me why somebody should invest with you when they're hitting 59%. And then he went on to say he's new at this. So he wasn't being a jerk, okay? And quite simply put, folks, at an average bet of minus 110, which is 110 to win 100, if you go 59 and 41 over 100 picks, okay, you're making a profit of $1,390. All right, so that's 100 picks. We're usually well over 1,000 picks for the year between us three. Sean, much more than both of us. And having said that, take 13,000 or 13,900 or 1390, excuse me, times 100. Okay, times 10, I should say. That's going to be what? Do the math. You're going to make money at 59%. Not only you're going to make a lot. Now that's at 59. Even at 55 with a volume handicapper like Sean, you're going to make a ton of money. Okay. Even
I think people
55
equivalent this to a school test where if you're scoring at 60%, you're failing. This isn't geometry
No.
your sophomore year in high school. This is sports,
Yeah.
but you don't need 96%, 88%. I'm a B student. No. You really need 53%. 53%, you'll still make money. And people who don't do this for a living might mock you. Oh, look at that. You can't even win. Well, all right. I don't know. I'm in the plus. I don't understand. It's like you say, Jesse, I say all the time, no one's going to walk over a $5 bill on the ground. No one's doing it.
Yeah.
No one's doing it. Don't complain about 53, 54, 55, 56%. Stop falling for the nonsense that you see on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, whatever, like that kind of crap. It's not real.
Yeah. I think that too much of you're seeing these posts with somebody hitting a 10-teamer that made $37,000 for a $10 bet. And like I said, folks, that happens on a rare occasion, and they don't also post the 1,500,000 similar tickets that lost before that. So
and I want to see that person. You hit that probably. Did they quit their job? Because they had a job. It wasn't like they're just doing that. They're working a regular 8-hour job a day, 10 hours, whatever. Did they quit and say, I'm going to do this forever and offer that one win?
Yeah.
I just had a look at the site that does the best at tracking handicappers and tracking the most of them. I'm sure you guys know the one I'm talking about, but for the calendar year of 2023, there currently isn't anybody hitting 59% with all their plays this year. And I would seriously doubt if they've ever had a guy hit 59%
possible
with over 1,000 plays.
I tell people, I don't think I've ever had a winning season in all sports, like in a season. Because it doesn't work that way. You're doing good in something. Well, I'm going to bet this. I'm 4-18 so far in this game, or 7-12, whatever the case may be. Throwing any record on another sport when you're winning at a ridiculous rate in another one, you're not going to do that sport. You're going to why am I going to waste my time? I'm rolling in this one. I don't think I've ever hit every single sport. And I don't. People think, oh, you're not really a pro. Okay, fella. All right.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure
you got to know
guys
what you're good at.
I'm sure you guys have run across this question from customers, clients, or somebody that just chimes in on your shows about what you're better at. And it's like, I'm good at everything. Okay. And like to Sean's point is I might have this year I'm having a winning NFL and college football season. Matter of fact, if you go to sports capping and 75 guys that are there, I'm number 3 overall in college football, NFL combined. But I'm off to a bad start in the NBA, slow start, or not, or 6-4 in the NBA, excuse me, a slow start in college basketball. I had a horrible beginning of the baseball season. I had a horrible start to the first 7 months of the year. And now I'm at a profit margin for the entire year. It changes, folks. If you do this long enough, and you cover all the mainstream sports, you're bound to have good years in some sports and bad years in other sports, and they could rotate every year in that regard. So to say what
I think the worst thing you can do, I think the worst thing you can do is to purchase a long-term subscription from a professional handicapper and then to make the decision yourself to only follow whatever you think he's good at. Because when you start filtering out yourself and now you're handicapping the handicapper, you're paying him to be the handicapper and then you're handicapping him. And that's a recipe for disaster. I think if you buy guys picks, you play all his picks, regardless of whether you like them or not, all his picks and only his picks. And for the amount of units that he tells you to play him for, that's what you're paying him to do. If you start messing with that, you're wasting your money.
Well, Jess, you had the guy who said he had a losing. He's like, "Oh, Jess, you're killing me. I lost." And you're like, "Lost? We went 7-2 this weekend. How'd you lose?"
Yeah. No, I think it was worse than that. I think it was like the month of September or something. He signed up in the beginning of September, and he said he got killed. And I'm like, I'm up 10 times for September. What's going on? And we tried to figure it out, and he said that he bet some games too big, too many units on some. He passed on some others, didn't get his card in. So, and this is the kind of thing that's all it takes to go from up 10 times to down 5 times. And
that's the difference between being a pro and having fun. Like, I'll go bet. I don't like that. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, there's nothing more
There's no
annoying
in
to me than when I talk to a client and they'll say, well, you know, I broke even yesterday and I went 3-1. Well, why did you break even? Well, those other two winners you gave me, I didn't like. I said, well, that means you lost money because you must have bet the other way. No, I just didn't like the game. Well, why are you paying me? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Anyway, we need to move on here. Speaking of streaks, I went 3-1 yesterday. I had a winner on Duke in college basketball. Also had the Indiana Pacers in the NBA plus 5.5 as they were an outright winner over the 76ers. I had Bowling Green plus 10.5, and they gave Toledo all they can handle. They blew a 28-10 halftime lead, but still easily covered in a 32-31 loss. That makes me 149-101, folks, in all sports since August the 4th. That's over 3 months, and that's 60%. NBA picks since April 12th of this year, 46-26, 64%, off to a 6-4 start this year. NFL since week 2, 31-18, good for 63%. And my college football since September the 14th, 40-27. That's also good for 60%. And it's a 63% run if you go all the way back to December 2nd of last year. So speaking of long-term streaks, I'm doing that quite well of late. And again, when it goes for over 3 months, folks, I would quantify that as not a fluke. All right, let me get to my game. Kansas and Kansas State. This line jumped right out at me, and I'm interested to hear. I can only anticipate what I'm going to hear from you two guys, but maybe you'll agree with me. I got an inkling you won't, okay? Kansas State's an 8-point favorite on the road at Kansas. The total in this game is 56.5, but I'm just going to concentrate on the side. You got two teams that are 7-3. You got a Kansas team that's 5-1 at home and a Kansas State team that's 1-3 on the road. Yet, Kansas State's an 8-point road favorite. Again, folks, thinking like a bookmaker, they're begging you to take the home underdog here. Now, Kansas, I mentioned they're 5-1. They are coming off their first home loss of the season, 16-13 to Texas Tech. By the way, I had Texas Tech last week as a 4-point underdog. Kansas State, I said they're 7-3, and all 3 losses came on the road, but nothing to be ashamed of here. They lost at number 7 Texas 33-30. That's a Texas team that blew Kansas out of the water. They lose at Missouri, who's the number 11 team in the country, 30-27. Another 3-point
on a 60-yard field goal.
Yeah,
on a 60-yard field goal. Right. And then they lose at number 24 Oklahoma State, who was at the beginning of their hot streak when they faced them there. And they lose that game. Yeah. So they're 4-1 in their last 5, okay, with the only loss coming against Texas. And over those 5 games, they're a plus 10 turnover margin. Their offense during that 5-game run, they're averaging 41.8 points per game and 445 yards of total offense per contest. Now, I like to look at these things. I bring it up time and time again. And when I see this type of line with 2 teams with identical records, and it doesn't make sense, I go to the point per game and yard per game differential. And Kansas State, they're plus 20.3 points per game this year in their 10 contests. They're plus 96.5 yards per game. Kansas, with the same identical record, plus 6.5 points per game and plus a little over 39 yards a game. Plus the fact that if you look at the strength of schedule, Kansas State has played slightly the tougher schedule of the 2 teams. In Kansas State, is 4. And again, I got on Sean about this with Kansas when they played Iowa State a couple weeks ago. It's not fair to go back a few years with Kansas and say this is what's gone on, but Kansas State has owned this rivalry. They're 4-0 straight up in the ATS in the last 4. It's not that they're beating them, they're annihilating them by 28.5 points per game. Now, keep in mind, this version of Kansas is much better than prior versions of Kansas. So that is the least of why I like this game and my evidence sheet that Jesse likes to refer to. And since 2021, Kansas State, as a favorite of between 3.5 and 10, is 8-1 against the spread with an average point per game differential of 17.8 points per game. I'm going to go against what I think is going to be a huge public pick on Kansas +8. I'm going to take Kansas State here minus the 8. Again, there's too many. It looks too good to be true. Taking the home underdog here in this spot with all considered. When usually when it looks too good to be true, it is. But Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go to Sean because he's just dying to say something. But yeah, I got some thoughts. Lance Leopold probably on his way out the door to Texas A&M. That's a rumor. And Jason Bean, the quarterback, I don't know what happened to him. I wasn't watching that game last week, but I saw 1 of 4 passing. I don't know if he got yanked for poor play or if he was injured. But either one of those scenarios doesn't bode well for his performance this week. I'm the kind of guy that sees a home dog getting 8 points. They got the same record as the other team. I'm going to look at that. And the fact that I don't want to take Kansas probably suggests that Kansas State is the play.
They could Texas A&M can do a lot worse than Lance Leopold. This is a guy who
I think that's the kind of guy they need to hire. I think they need to hire a guy like this rather than your Urban Meyers or pay huge money to some big name. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy won at Buffalo. He won at the University of Buffalo. He takes a job at Kansas when they were like 25 in the last 3 seasons or something ridiculous like that. Turns them around, makes them a bowl team last year. They're 7-3 this year. Yeah, you're right, Jesse. They should hire a guy like Lance Leopold. Anyway, go ahead, Sean.
The guy can coach, but the simple fact is that this was a 6.5, 7. It's up to a 8.5 area now. Yeah, you look at it. Why Kansas? They're ranked too, an 8-point home dog. There's basically 2 teams in the bottom of the top 25. You get again
number 23 against number 25.
Yeah, give me K-State when it looks that good. I'll go the other way all the time. Again, right, guys? We look for a long-term picture because Kansas could easily cover this, but when you get a big sample size on this, you keep doing it over and over again, you're going to win. You got to stick to what's made us money for well over a decade. Take the Wildcats of Kansas State.
Yeah, I mean, I had a situation like this in the NFL that I got lambasted when I took San Francisco last week -3 against Jacksonville. And my theory was, how is a team that's lost 3 in a row, a 3-point road favorite, against a team that's 5-0 straight up in ATS in their last 5? And then I went on to make a case to call Jacksonville a fraud. And all these Jacksonville I didn't know there was that many Jacksonville Jaguar fans in the world because they were coming out of the woodwork to crucify me. I got nothing against the community of Jacksonville, but like I said on yesterday's show when I brought it up, the best thing to come out of Jacksonville was Leonard Skinner. It's not the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anyway, all right.
So I got Jacksonville a 1-point dog next week against the Texans in Houston, by the way.
Yeah, well,
I've been waiting for a spot to fade the red hot Texans.
Yeah, he's frozen. So let's all right. So I guess he's taking K-State. Russ is free picks on K-State, everybody. We'll see if he unfreezes. Be sure to I guess I'll take over. You want me to take? You want to take? I'll take over. So here we go. It's official. We're in charge, Russ. Me and you.
Woohoo! Sean is now the boss. Sean is the host.
Now I'm at a loss for words because I'm like, boy, should I really do it, or is he going to come back and land basically because I've been waiting for my spot? It happens, folks. We do videos. Sometimes we get a little freeze. It's internet. It happens. But listen, you know where to go here. We got the well, actually, I'll say, Jesse, you do your thing first, and I'll close this out. What do we want you to do? We want you to open up the notification bell, settings, hit the like, the least you can do. We want to make you better gamblers. Notification bell on so you know when we do our free picks. Me, you, Paul, Kyle, the whole crew here. We want you to
smash that like button.
Yes, we do. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties. My internet
I was
must
at
have
a
had an internet.
words.
Yeah,
The inmates were running the asylum for a little while there.
that's okay. They're very capable. These are two inmates that I would trust in that regard. So you heard it all. Sean, I believe, covered everything as far as hitting the like button and all that kind of stuff. So again, folks, apologize for the technical difficulty. Don't forget, we'll be back Friday in our live show at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Myself, Sean, and Jesse. And you can chime in with all your questions and comments. And until the next time, for Sean Higgs and Jesse Schule and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.